Hello and welcome to today's video on high altitude investing. Today is going to be a Bitcoin and altcoin price overview, and I'm going to be answering a couple questions that people have asked me in the comments. And hold on just 1 second. People have asked me in the comments, and I will be going over those. So yeah. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that right over here I have a Bitcoin tip jar, and all of those tips go to the Poloniex account that I'm using for this channel. So we can all, all my subscribers and me, we can watch as this Poloniex account grows, and all donations, if you send me an email at highaltitudeinvesting.com, at highaltitudeinvesting@gmail.com, then you can, and tell me how much you donated, then I will shout you out in the next video too. So, yeah, that's basically all I have to say here in the intro. Let's get right into the actual markets today. So, first, I'm going to look at Bitcoin. And the reason I'm looking at Bitcoin first is because it had really nice price movement since my last video. And, I see a lot of potential in this coin, but I'm also I'm trying to be, as best as a trader can be, a logical trader in making my decisions and not letting emotion make my decisions. Like, I wouldn't be buying a ton of Bitcoin right here, personally. I would be waiting for it to find a top out where I can find a good buy-in again. In fact, I would be selling my position right now because it's a very secure place to sell it at that much gains. So, basically what happened in Bitcoin was we saw it finally break above this resistance level here, which I attribute to, where is the candlestick I'm looking for here? Okay, I attribute this run in value to this candlestick right here. Now the reason I say that is because, well, first of all, we had quite a bit of indecisiveness in the market right here after made this first peak. And the reason you can tell that there's indecision, the market isn't sure what's happening, is because you see these candlesticks, these wicks, they're called, the lines coming out of the bars. The wicks is where the price movement in between the open and close. So basically the way a candlestick works, I'll give you a quick overview here if you don't know. The start of the thickness in the bar, so let's use this candlestick as an example. So this right here, this is the open price of the candlestick. So once 3 days had passed and a new candlestick was in place, and the third day passed, this candlestick started coming about, and it opened at 523 Bitcoin per, 523, and then it closed at 531. So the reason I know that it opened down at this lower spot is because it's a green candlestick. If it's a red candlestick, then it actually opens at so basically the way that it works is if a candlestick opens at a certain price and by the time that it closes it's higher than that price, then it will be a green candlestick. But if it opens and then closes at lower than the original price, it will be a red candlestick. So bearish candlesticks mean that it's going to go down, and bullish candlesticks mean that it's going to go up. So green candlesticks show up movement in the market, and red ones show down movement in the market. So these wicks, though, is the price movement in between the open and close. So that's just how much it fluctuated before that third day, those 3 days were over. So you can see there's a lot of selling out down here, a lot of selling out down, and then some selling up too. So the market was kind of, channeling side trending right here and deciding what to do. And then it finally decided what it was going to do, which is come find support. And it came and found support at that 38% Fibonacci level that it may, that it kind of flatlined at before its peak right here. Now, there is a really, really good obvious reason why Bitcoin did what it did after this. And that's because of this candlestick wick. This means there was a lot of people that were trying to buy in on the market. They were trying to get in at cheap prices, and those orders had to be fulfilled. So once all of those orders were filled up in the market and everybody was happy with the price, then we saw this uptrend start to come about. And it didn't really show much resistance. We had a little selling out right here, but it really just kept going strong. And then it finally broke above its previous high, or its recent high, at 780, and that's when it really, really took off. And I attribute this run to two things: the halving in Bitcoin that happened, in July, and then this candlestick right here, this candlestick wick right here that said, hey, look, I'm not going below this. This is my support, and I'm going to keep going up. And it really did. It just, took off from there. So Bitcoin is at 900, well, its peak is 980, and it's at 959 right now. Now, a couple other important, candlestick patterns that I've noticed that caused this original uptrend from the beginning when it bottomed out is this one right here. When it came down to 152 and that hard wick down. That means a lot of people were trying to get into the market at a cheap price. So we saw that right there, and ever since then we've just seen an extremely nice uptrend in Bitcoin. Now, something I've noticed is the uptrend line kind of stays consistent, and then it hits a new important decision point, and then goes up again. And then it hits a new important decision point, which would be that resistance level, and it goes up again. So what I'm looking for is actually what happened right here in Bitcoin. When Bitcoin did this huge wick up, that means a lot of people were selling out. They didn't trust that Bitcoin was going to go any higher than this super soon, very soon. And they had already made pretty significant profit, I'm sure, buying up along here. So this was a big sellout in the market. And I'm just looking for another wick sellout like that before I find another good buy opportunity in Bitcoin. Now, that could be above its all-time high. That could be above its all-time high that actually does that hard wick up like that. But, only time will tell. And its all-time high is only just over $100 more than what it's at now. So, yeah, we could definitely see it hit its all-time high, but I am expecting a hard wick up and then a support again in Bitcoin. So that's my current thoughts, but for all you guys that got in on this Bitcoin run, congratulations. And I definitely made some money off of this myself. Very happy about its price and increase in value. And people are freaking out over what Bitcoin is doing right now, and yeah, it's pretty impressive. You can make a lot of money doing this, and it's shown a lot of growth, and it's an amazing technology. But honestly, I was kind of expecting Bitcoin to have a very, very strong uptrend just in its entire lifetime. And the reason because of that is that it's a math-based currency. Until an altcoin or something takes its place, or maybe something won't, maybe we'll develop Bitcoin to the point of perfection, but until then, we're going to see a consistent growth in Bitcoin. But, you know, just like any other market, you're going to see drops off to find support. Obviously, it did it all along the way here. Made its huge support find after it hit its all-time high, coming clear back down to 150. So, you know, that's just basically what I'm expecting to see in Bitcoin in the next little while. It's a great investment. If you bought some today, I feel like you have at least 2-3 more days, maybe even up to a week before we see it peak out. And, you know, that's just my idea on it. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of resistance at its previous all-time high. Now, if there isn't a lot of resistance at its previous all-time high, then I'm going to continue buying up Bitcoin until it finds a resistance level again, so that I can, you know, scope out a spot to buy in. So after I sell out at that resistance, I'd scope out at a place to buy in. So yeah, I'm still holding long on my Bitcoin. Been selling a little bit of it into alts as it increases in value, but definitely an amazing thing that has been happening in Bitcoin, so I'm really excited about that. Alright, now let's go over to the actual altcoins. Now Ethereum is up 8% today. I believe that this is just because Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, when Ethereum Classic starts to kind of run up, people are like, oh, maybe Ethereum's a true chain, you know, because basically the correlation between the two is causing a lot of market fluctuation, a lot of volatility. Now, what I see right here is basically a pretty interesting wick up right here. But more importantly, let me see if I can go back here. More importantly, this wick up right here. This is basically just saying I do not want to go any higher than this point, at least for a while. So I'm still thinking Ethereum Classic will downtrend, and ETC will continue to shave value off of it. So that's my current thoughts on Ethereum right now, and it just barely hit its 23% resistance, so it's probably a good time to be putting on shorts. Now, let's take a look at XMR. XMR made like a 40% increase in 2 days. It's doing really well. It came up and it tested this resistance level here, broke a little bit above it. We did see a sellout wick here and some sellout wicks here, but we're seeing pretty good support right here in the market. Some nice down wicks, a little bit of a crazy up wick here, but you know, as soon as I see a good buy signal, which would probably be somewhere around in this area again, the 0.01279 area, that's going to be my scope of buying for XMR, because I was talking about how I think it was going to do a bull formation like Bitcoin did, but I don't think it will, because after a little bit of consideration and some math that I've done, I feel like due to the fact that it's an actively used cryptocurrency and it solves a lot of Bitcoin's problems, we're going to see a consistent growth in this coin. Now, yeah, of course, all markets move up and down on their way, but at least for 6 months I see consistent growth in XMR. ETC is doing so well today. It's up 25%. It just came up and tested that top again. And I really don't see this coin dumping off yet. I really feel like it's a good time in Ethereum Classic to be looking for buy opportunities and putting in as much as you have extra. So, you know, this is an incredible move in a coin. 26% in one day. That's good movement for this cryptocurrency, and I feel like it will continue doing what it's doing. My scope for support is actually already reached my scope, my first scope for buy support, but my second area in buy support would be around the 0.001352 Bitcoin range. So it might just break above those, but those would be my two buy opportunities if it doesn't break above those relatively soon. Alright, so let's take a look at Factum. Now, Factum is doing some interesting things. We have this hard wick down, nice little bottom. It's came up, double topped here, and couldn't find support at 23, so it wicked down. And that wick down right there is very promising to me. I feel like this coin will at least come up and test this 50% level at 0.00312, maybe even higher. But I do think there will be a small test in support soon, just because I feel like this is a pretty strong resistance level, considering it came up and dumped so hard right there. Barely broke above to the next resistance, and then when it came there again, just dumped off. So that's a pretty important resistance level, and that one's at 0.0037 Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm hoping for it to break above this and hit this resistance level, and then I'll be buying a lot more on the 50% at 0.0031 Bitcoin. Now, Zcash. This is actually one that one of the people in my comments have been asking me about, and I think Zcash is going to keep downtrending. Here's a couple reasons why I feel that way. First of all, there's quite a bit of buy support around the 0.4 area in the market depth. So I think that purely because of that, and these hard wicks up, this wick up here, this wick up here, this wick up here, wick right here, all of those point me towards the fact that, yeah, this looks like a 1, 2, 3 bottom, but it just does not want to go above this area here. So I think it's still going to downtrend and find some support that it can actually see a really nice run in value. But if it doesn't break below this level right here that it made a 1, 2, 3 bottom at, which is 0.0425 Bitcoin, then this could be a very good 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. But my personal views right now is that it will keep dumping off for a little while. Alright, now I'm going to cover Dash because I've been talking about Dash in one of my recent videos. Dash looks to me like it has some hard wick candlesticks down. This right here is just a pump and then dump right here. So it really depends on, Dash and XMR have a lot of battling that they do in value. So it really depends on how much XMR is going to keep doing what it's doing and how much Bitcoin actually keeps doing what it's doing, because those are the two main enemies, I guess you could say, the two main things dropping value off of Dash. But I still feel like it's a good investment, and until it breaks below this bottom formation at 0.0100 Dash, I think it will continue uptrending here. Now let's see, Potcoin, it's up 20% today. Potcoin has been making just wild swings up and down in value, and I have a friend that's been making some nice profits off of it. I own Potcoin myself, and you know, it does show some pretty strong down support, but every time it shows down support, it finds support so hard afterwards that it almost doesn't even matter. So I still feel like this is a great investment. Probably not a good buy today though, up being 20%. Excuse me. Okay, let's see, what was another one they wanted me to review? Okay, so another person in the comments wanted me to do LBC. So let's take a look at LBC. This is a low volume coin, and to be honest, I don't look at it very often. Occasionally I'll go through and look at it. It's had a pretty big history of a downtrend, but this right here is the start. This is a good start to what I would consider the makings of a bottom formation. So if indeed this coin does make a bottom formation right here, it's probably the best time to buy in Libri, because, well, obviously because it's a bottom formation, but it's had a huge downtrend in the past, and it's a relatively recent coin. It wasn't added like too long ago, according to my understanding. We can check real quick. It was added July 21st. Yeah, July 21st. So it's only seen this year of price movement, but this does look like a pretty good bottom forming. I would be buying around this 23% level, although I do feel like it will hit this. But yeah, LBC, definitely one to keep your eye on. Thanks for the comment, by the way. Let's check out your other one that you wanted me to do an overview on. And this is AMP. We have 43 volume. It's up 4.18%. And AMP has also been a pretty consistent downtrend after its high, because when it first started, you know, I was making a nice profit off of this run up in AMP, and I sold around here, I believe, when I started to see it flatlining right here. I sold right here. I knew I could have made more profits because that's an oscillation pattern, and those oscillation patterns mean that it's just trying to break above that resistance. So I knew I could make more money, but I wanted to be safe, so I sold out my position in AMP right there. Now, if I go down here and you look at scenario AMP right now, we see a hard candlestick down and a pretty hard candlestick up right here. So I don't see a bottom formation yet. I would be waiting for this coin to find support still. So that's my thoughts on AMP. Again, I appreciate the comment. And for you guys that don't know, I talked about in my last video, if you have any questions or you know, any coins that you want me to review, then I will try and fit them in my next video that I do. So yeah, those were actually all of the cryptocurrencies I wanted to look at today. There is one other thing. Let me look here. Oh, okay. So Ghost in Machine was asking me about these tabs under the markets. So basically, if you don't know what a market is, it's, you know, in the world of cryptocurrency trading and stock trading, a market is just basically a bunch of people that buy and sell whatever it is. So, you know, you can buy ETH or Ethereum with your Bitcoin. See, I have 0.039 Bitcoin. or I can sell ETH that I might have, I don't have any, into Bitcoin if I'd like to, you know, in this little area here. Now these tabs right here are just other pairs. So a pair is when, this is a pair right here, AMP versus Bitcoin. That's a pair. So that means that two things are fighting for value. So if I go over here, I can look at Ethereum pairs. And now what that means is I am trading my ETC against Ethereum. The pair is now not with Bitcoin, it's with Ethereum. So it basically just adds other marketplaces for, which by the way, the Ethereum Classic graph against Ethereum looks incredible. So definitely another reason pointing towards my parity when ETC and ETH reach the same value, the same price. So see, as you can see here, I could sell my ETC for ETH tokens, but I do not feel like that's a good idea personally. And you can do it with all the other coins on here. They're all pegged to Ethereum. And same with XMR. You can trade all of these coins against XMR. And same with the US dollar tether. And you can trade all of the, you know, coins in here against the US dollar tether, which just gives you USDT, and then you can buy back in with that USDT. It's basically like a, you know, a mini cryptocurrency on here. It just holds it as ETC, I mean as US dollar tether. Now, was there anything else that I wanted to talk about in this video? Oh yeah, definitely. So I deposited about $35 into our account here, our channel high altitude investing account, and just before I made that deposit, we had $95.23 in here. We started with just below $100, so we're still at a little bit of a loss, but we made a pretty significant profit trading Ethereum Classic. When we had that 22 ETC, it really helped us out, really helped bring us back up into our starting price range there. So with this extra Bitcoin that I have deposited into the account, I was going to make a couple buys and show you where I think I'm going to invest the money that I just added for this channel into these cryptocurrencies, so that we can make some money and see how this channel grows, this Poloniex account. The first one that I'm really gonna put money in initially here would be XMR. Now, I'm not going to put a lot of money in XMR because it is still at a pretty high price right now. It's not exactly, you know, it's still not below the 23 or in between the 38. So I'm not going to risk very much of my capital on this trade. So I just go down here to the buy and I just type in how much Bitcoin I want to spend on it. So I just want to spend 0.009 Bitcoin. And that gives me about half of an XMR. So I bought half of an XMR at 0.0133 XMR per coin. So now we've invested a little bit here in XMR. And I want to add to my Ethereum Classic trade. Here. I'm going to add, and I trust Ethereum Classic a lot right now. Even if I buy right now and it goes down a little bit, I'm thinking very long term with ETC, like a month or two. So I'm going to go ahead and put 0.01 Bitcoin into ETC, which gives us another 6 ETC tokens. Awesome. So, now, what was the other one I wanted to invest in? Okay, this one I'm going to invest in because of a couple reasons. First of all, this hard wick down, this hard wick down, those are both really good trading signals. This hard pump up right here in value, and the fact that there's some news added to it, and I think Bitcoin will go up for a little while yet still. So Litecoin has been following along Bitcoin pretty accurately, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, not accurately, but when Bitcoin makes a run, Litecoin seems to pump up with it. Now, I'm going to trust 0.01 of my Bitcoin into Litecoin, which that gives us 2 Litecoin. Awesome. We just bought some Litecoin, and those are all of the cryptocurrencies that I'm going to invest in today. Let's go ahead and I'm going to leave 0.01 Bitcoin in here because I want to diversify a little bit into... It's only good to diversify investments if you're diversifying them into consistent places that you know you have a high probability of making money putting it there. So I diversify that Bitcoin into multiple altcoins that I feel like have a high probability of giving me a higher return on investment than I originally put in. So I'm diversifying my 0.01 Bitcoin because I feel like it will still come up to around the 1,000 range before it finds resistance. So I'm just keeping 0.01 of that Bitcoin in here to hold. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our balances here. We have $134 in our Poloniex account, 29 Ethereum Classic, some New Economy, 0.01 Bitcoin, some Litecoin, Monero, Dash, Factum, MadeSafe, Instinium, Ripple, Folding Coin, and ARDOR. So that's basically our holdings right now, and we'll see how they grow. Now let's just take a look real quick here at the total market caps. We have a total market cap of 17,872,621,000. 24-hour volume of 272,882,000, and a Bitcoin dominance of 87.6%, which actually dropped off about a percentile since yesterday when I looked. Top volume coins is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Monero, and Ethereum Classic, and then Dash. So those are the top volume coins. And Tether. This was one more thing I wanted to point out. Just real quick here. If we look at the US dollar Tether markets and we look at XMR, we see a completely different story than we do with the Bitcoin markets. And this is telling me, what this is telling me is the fact that the US dollar is actually losing some strength against these cryptocurrencies. The adoption is getting to the point where the US dollar is losing strength against these currencies. Now, I talked about this in one of my other videos, and I still feel like it's just as valid as ever. as you can see, I mean, XMR here is double topped almost right here. Well, it hit its previous high against the US dollar market, and then if you go ahead and you look against the standard Bitcoin market, and it's barely reaching where it did right here. So, you know, Bitcoin has a lot of strength against the way that these markets move. Now, ETC is the same story. Here's a hard wick down. Those hard wick downs are really good trading signals. They generally mean an amazing buy opportunity. So we saw a hard wick down right here, and bam, huge run up in volume and value. So yeah, it just tells a little bit of a different story against the US dollar tether. And it's kind of something that you can look at. See, like this signal right here didn't show up in Ethereum Classic, but it did against the US dollar tether, and that signal is extremely important. Anybody that's seen that signal that knows about trading with a hard wick down like that would know that this was going to take off very soon, or has a high probability of taking off very soon. Alright, well, that's all I have for you guys today. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Make sure to go follow me on Twitter and subscribe, comment, and like if you have anything to say, and like if you liked the video. And as always, stay profitable.